It's very complicated, long story. And actually, it was a law just a few months ago when and it says that it's forbidden to evict people on the streets, and the state have to build social housing. So, of course, the state have no power to build social housing, even with the crisis now. But again, the law is not retroactive. It's applied only to processes that start now. So there are a lot of people in this situation. So the process is very simple. You see the diagram here with the former house, let's say in the left, and this is the indivisible fight when the process is taking place. This is the first step of the evicting process, the evacuation, when they start to arrange the furniture in front of the former house, and then they start to camp outside the street, on the streets. They start to build these structures, and we found out that these are the initial facts. This is how it all starts, with the furniture in the street, and they start to organize themselves. And we found out like 20 or something like that examples. Actually, they are evicted with also with the pets. So we started to look at these structures on the streets, and we found out that there are some typologies that they organize themselves on the street. So the first is the package one, with furniture just out in the street. It occupies the sidewalk. It's not livable. It's unlivable. This is another example. Just furniture is the tenants visit them for one time in a week or something. Another example, this one with even the dog evicted from the house, from a court. Another example, when you see they were actually living in the former courtyard of the house. This is a much more, let's say, complex situation when the structure is livable. Actually, there were two families living here. And this is a movie of how they live. The furniture is organized as it was in the former house, with the kitchen area in the front, and then the sitting area, and then the sleeping area. It's close to the former facade. It's lean on the former facade. And they were living here like, I don't know, for a few months or something. Another example of this typology corridor. In this one also they were living in this one. You notice the furniture also put in order as a functional way. First let's say the sitting room, and then the kitchen, sleeping area, and then a more complex typology, like row units, when the furniture is in consecutive piles, let's say. but they are separated and accessed from the exterior, not in a corridor way. With the sleeping area, the kitchen, and so on. This was the sleeping area, the bedroom. And then a strange kind of typology, we call it the camping, because the furniture is not well organized. It also occupies the sidewalk, but the let's say the living unit is externalized. In this case, is the car. Actually, the owner sleeps in the car, and he's there for 2 years or something. Yeah, he's living in the car. So the furniture is not well organized. Another camping situation, again with the furniture not so well organized, but the exterior component of this unit is this kiosk. It was, I think it was empty, and he was living in here. And the final typology, the house is the most evolved one. Because these people really started to learn how to live in an extreme situation out in the streets. So they build these wooden structures. They wrap it in blue folia for protection. Again, it was livable with a complete family staying there. We actually heard them one day taking dinner. It was very strange. This one is also it's a strange situation because it has a door and a carpet outside the door, and actually it's right across the former entrance of the entrance of the former house. So the former owner and the tenant are now neighbors. And this is again a house typology. This one is again livable. The family is living here for 2 years or more. No, 2 years. It's wrapped in foam, insulation. But they use the toilet from the former house because the former house is not occupied. So this is a very serious situation with this family staying here for 2 years. So what we did learn from them of how they organize in the street, and we proposed somehow a fictional proposition. Let's say it's not that we're going to build this or something. It's how we learned all these problems from them, and we propose this exterior unit. It's the most, let's say, is the most evolved typology of them all. With this exterior unit, with wooden structure and some rainwater collection recipient, the electricity from the pole, a place to sleep. And we also thought of the personalized situation when they can insulate with foam the structure, and they can do some entrance and doors and windows, stuff like that. And another proposition we thought of this A4 sheets of survival guide for post-evicted citizen, and what you can do in this kind of situation. You should get a good place in front of your former house. You should organize your furniture. You should wrap the foliage and get some woods and build a structure. Install a water collection unit. Try to get electricity if it's possible. Wrap it in foliage and insulation, and of course get a dog because there are stray dogs in Bucharest. And the most successful approach is to get media attention. So this is the first project. And the second project is a project we did with a guy from Natural History Museum, a researcher, and some researcher from agriculture and landscape school in Bucharest. We try to look at the city in and its other inhabitants, like birds and plants, and see how they use the city, how they grow in the city. And I'll show you just one example of a movie with stray dogs. Because we have a lot of stray dogs in Bucharest, and they're using the street. The city is very wide. They don't go on the red light. They only pass to they are in group. It's for people. They only cross the street on the zebras and on the green line. Stopping at policemen. So we actually did a map of the center of the city of Bucharest with these four typology of spaces, like personal gardens, parks, no man's land. It's a word in Romanian. I don't know if it's in Croatian. Maidan. No, it's a Turkish word. I don't know. And spaces in between. And we choose some 10 animals and 10 plants, the most common one. And we try to see how they, as I told you, how they use the city and how they survive in the city. So this is the first category with private courts and gardens. Unfortunately, it's only in Romanian. Also, the postcards are only in Romanian. So we, as I said, we work with a guy from Natural History Museum, and the story is in the first part a scientific definition of this nut tree, and then a story of how it got in Bucharest, how where you can find it and things like that. And these were actually postcards. This was the face of the postcard. This is the moth, I think. The city parks with another plant. The crow. These are normal plants and animals, not like exotic ones. And no man's land. Actually, this is a tree. It's all over Europe. It's like a stray dog of the plants. It grows everywhere. It goes very fast. And of course, the dog. And the guests. In this case, the seagull, because in Bucharest we have seagulls. Seagulls come to the big cities not for the water, but because of the food. They found food very easy. So in Bucharest we have, as I think you know, the House of the People, which is this huge building in a huge park, and we found out that they used the